Aikwe, Neknomalita, and this is my channel, The Midnight Librarian. Today I'll be talking about my March TBR. So March, I'm hoping I can do a little better than February. Not that I did bad in February. February just felt like I wasn't able to do much because it was very busy for us. Both planned and unplanned. So March, I don't think I have very much going on. I hope that I can actually go through this. There's a couple of things that I would like to get on my TBR. The Literally Dead Book Club pick. I would also like to complete a couple challenges, the Buzzwordathon challenge, as well as the adventure challenge, yearly challenge for the Magical Readathon, as well as a couple of others. Apologies for the mess. I did have to rearrange some, and it doesn't look as organized on camera as it did in person. So I haven't filmed in a while, so I apologize if I'm a little rusty for that. But if you're new here and new to my TBR, hi, welcome. Thank you for joining us. I end up taking these little packs of Pokemon cards and opening them up and letting Pokemon cards choose my TBR based off prompts that I have assigned to each and every Pokemon type. I have my cheat sheet for the types. Each type has a prompt, as well as trainers and energy cards, as well as holographic and reverse holos. I will also have the prompts linked down in the description down below. If you ever want to check it out, you're more than welcome to. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, first one is so this is Hypno, which is the second evolution of Drowsy. Excuse me. So for Psychic, which is what Hypno is, it is to choose a thriller. I immediately know which one I want to put for this, and I feel like I'm kind of cheating in terms of picking horror to count as thriller, even though I feel like they're in the same vein. But I haven't seen a whole lot of dark Pokemon come through in a little bit, and that's what I'm in the mood for. So I'm gonna pick the Literally Dead Book Club pick for March, which is The Spite House by Johnny Compton. Yeah, I pre-ordered this. I'm super excited for it. I was actually a little surprised that it came as a hardback, and how small it was actually. So it's less than 300 pages. I'm pretty excited about it. Last year I was finding that I was a little more into horror than I was expecting, and this year particularly I am for some reason really obsessed right now with haunted house horror. So that's what this is. Eric Ross is on the run from a mysterious past with two daughters in tow when he comes across a strange ad for the Masson House in Degener, Texas. Eric thinks that they might have finally caught a lucky break. The most haunted place in Texas needs a caretaker. All they need to do is stay in the house and keep a detailed record of everything that happens there, provided the house's horrors don't drive them all mad like the caretakers before them. That's all I know. That's all I want to know. I'm pretty excited about this. I do want to get more into the Literally Dead Book Club picks. Last year I wasn't as into some of the picks, and I just had a hard time keeping up, but this year I'm kind of making it more of a priority, because like I said, I think at the beginning of the year that for some reason I am gung-ho for trying to burn myself out real quickly by accepting all these challenges, but this one in particular sounded really interesting, so that's what I'm choosing for Hypno. Next, this is Eskew, which, okay, I'm tired of seeing all these like ice looking Pokemons, but having it characterized as water. What do I even have for ice? Oh, no, I'm not. Ice is a thick book, so it's over 300 pages, which isn't bad, but still. So for water Pokemon is to read a book that is set in or around water, or that has water on the cover. And for this, I'm actually going to pick another nonfiction that I got recently, and I'm really excited for it because I actually picked it up when I went on vacation earlier in February. up the coast of Oregon, and that is Coast Range by Nick Neely. This is a collection from the Pacific Edge, and basically, I'm just going to read you a little bit. Coast, the edge of land, or conversely, the edge of sea. Range, a measure between limits or the scope or territory of a thing. Coast Range, the debut collection from writer Nick Neely, meticulously and thoughtfully dwells on these intersections much more. The book's title refers to the region in which these essays are set, the California and Oregon coastal ranges. In deeply moving prose, equal parts exhilarating and pensive, each essay explores an iconic organism, a few geologic, so that on the whole, the collection becomes a curiosity cabinet that freshly embodies the Pacific Northwest landscape. I got this because I thought it was a perfect theme of sorts when I was up in Oregon and we were traveling up and down the coast, just kind of exploring it. I found this cute little bookshop in Lincoln City and saw this. They had a wonderful nature collection, if I can remember the name of it. I'll link it down below. I don't know if they necessarily have a website, but I highly suggest going there. It was super cute. It was a little overfilled because they not only sell new books but used books as well, and it was just awesome to go in and see just how they were cluttered but in the cute way, and they were a little witchy, and I loved it. So this is what I'm choosing for SQ. Next. Okay, so this is trainer card and it's full face guard. For trainer cards, they're mood reads. So I'm going to hold on to this until the end, just in case I'm not able to get a book on that I would like to get on. I'll let you know before this video is done. Next. Okay, this is an energy card specifically for steel. So this is energy cards. Basically, whatever color is on the energy card is the book color that I need to find. I'm sure I have something, but I think I'm gonna look for something via audiobook just because I just like to, it's been working out pretty well actually to have a couple of audiobooks on my TBR because that's mainly what I listen to when I'm reading. That's how I consume my books a lot of the time. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and go with Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. The version that I have here on Libro is a grayscale photo, and I think that works really well with this gradient steel. So if you haven't heard of Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, I'm sure you could Google it and find a better explanation, but it is a gothic thriller. It's a classic. It's a passionate romance, a cautionary tale about the dangers of science. Frankenstein tells the story of a committed science student, Victor Frankenstein, obsessed with discovering the cause of generation and life, bestowing animation upon lifeless matter. Frankenstein assembles a human being from stolen body parts, but upon bringing it to life, he recoils in horror at the creature's hideousness. Yeah, it's a pretty iconic story, so if you haven't heard of it, I highly suggest you look it up. But I have yet to read it. I've been meaning to read Dracula, haven't yet. I'm partial way through, but I haven't actually finished it. But I've been wanting to read Frankenstein as well, so... and the audiobook says it's only 4.4, it's 4 hours and 41 minutes long, but that's only because I have it on 1.757 times speed, so it might be a little longer, but I think that's going to be a good choice for this energy card. Next. Talonflame. That's a really pretty bird, actually. This is the evolved form of Fletchinder, and it's a normal Pokemon, so normal is to read a contemporary. Ooh, I think I'll go with this one. And it's kind of a long audiobook actually, but it's another nonfiction, and it's one I've been curious about, particularly when I saw the alternate cover. Not that I dislike this cover, but this other one is really gorgeous, and I want to listen to it before I get it, but I think I'm going to choose An Immense World, How Animal Senses Reveal the Hidden Realms of Us by Ed Yong. Narrated by Ed Yong. Sorry, I don't think I said who narrated the Frankenstein. Who is it? Corey Samuel narrates Frankenstein, this particular edition through Libro. But for an immense world, one of the 10, the earth teems with sights and textures, sounds and vibrations, smells and tastes, electric and magnetic fields, but every kind of animal, including humans, is enclosed within its own unique sensory bubble, perceiving but a tiny sliver of our immense world. An immense world, Ed Yong coaxes us beyond the confines of our own senses, allowing us to perceive the skeins of scent, waves of electromagnetism. There we go. And pulses of pleasure that surround us. We encounter beetles that are drawn to fires, turtles that can track the Earth's magnetic fields, fish that fill rivers with electric messages, and even humans who wield sonar like bats. We discover that a crocodile's scaly face is as sensitive as a lover's fingertips, and that the eyes of a giant squid evolved to see sparkling whales, that plants thrum with the inaudible songs of courting bugs, and that even simple scallops have complex visions. So I absolutely love nature nonfiction, and I've had heard of this but wasn't as interested. Like I said, not that I don't mind this cover, but the alternate edition, when I saw it, I was like, I really need this book, but I want to listen to it. It is so even I think on my 1.75 times speed, it's 14 hours and 17 minutes. So, but that's what I'm hoping to read for Talonflame. Next. Sorry, cat hair. So this is a reverse holo Flaffy. Flaffy is the second evolution of Mareep. This is really cute, actually. So it is an electric Pokemon. Electric Pokemons are to read quick reads. Reverse holos are to read a backlist title. So must be a quick read, whatever that means to me, and must be backlist. So typically I would think that a backlist is anything beyond a year ago. So for that, for Flaffy, because it's such a cute Pokemon, I'm gonna pick a cute book that I've been meaning to read, and actually I just got it. So I've been hearing some good things about it, and that is The Little Ghost Who Was a Quilt, written by Real Nason, illustrated by Byron. I'm gonna butcher this, I'm so sorry. Eggenschwiller. And I think the title says it all, about a little ghost who was a quilt. But let's see. And on the back it says, it's hard to be a ghost when you're a quilt. So ghosts are supposed to be sheets, light as air, and able to whirl and twirl and float and soar. But the little ghost who is a quilt cannot whirl or twirl at all. And when he flies, he gets very hot. Oh, this is going to be so cute. I am so excited for this. I've heard great things over here on BookTube about it, so this is what I'm hoping to read. Next. This is Teddiursa, which is another normal type Pokemon, so it's to read a contemporary. I keep looking over here. So actually, that's not too bad. Okay, this month is just the month of like a lot of nonfiction apparently. So Teddiursa is to read a contemporary. I'm going to read Abalone. The Remarkable History and Uncertain Future of California's Iconic Shellfish by Anne Vialises. This is very much contemporary to me, even though it goes through the history as well as the uncertain future of abalone, just because it's still something that I very much care about. Abalone is something, particularly here in California, that is really coveted. It has been really coveted for years, even before colonization. We used abalone shells in a lot of regalia. Abalone meat is really just a delicacy. When colonization and settlers came to California, like they went at it with abalone, like there's photos of piles and piles of abalone shells. And now currently California is under a temporary no fishing or no gathering abalone because it's the population is in decline. And Oregon has also had a temporary no fishing for abalone as well, except that's been going on for 15 years now. So it is something that I very much care about. It's something that is very emotional to me, and I connect with it a lot in terms of what is happening to our abalone, what's going on with it. I know that it's a fear because it's been a part of the indigenous people's history for so long, and it's something that we continue to use today. So it is concerning that they may not be around, or the fact that we can't gather them anymore. And yet yeah. So this book, I think I got it last year when I went down to Palm Springs to visit my grandparents and found it in a Barnes & Noble. I absolutely love this cover. And yeah, I think it will be really important. So that's going to be for Teddy or so. I also forgot to say that the other reason why I would like to read this is because in the next prompt that I would like to complete for the adventure challenge for G's over at the Book Roast, year challenge for the Magical Readathon is to slay the wizard? Something like that. To beat the wizard or something is to read a book that is over 4.3 stars. On Goodreads, I believe this one has a 4.5. So I'm very interested in it. There was a couple of books that I could have chose from, but this one in particular I've been really wanting to read. So, especially after enjoying some of our title zones, rocky tidal areas in Oregon. So, okay, next. Okay, should have used abalone for this one, but whatever. This is Lotad. It is a water Pokemon, so to read anything, yeah, I think we get the prompt. Okay, I'm gonna choose another nonfiction, and this is How Far the Light Reaches, A Life in 10 Sea Creatures, by Sabrina Imbler, also narrated by Sabrina Imbler. Look at this cover, freaking gorgeous. So, a queer mixed-race writer working in a largely white male field, science and conservation journalist Sabrina Imbler has always been drawn to the mystery of life in the sea, and particularly to creatures living in hostile or remote environments. Each essay in their debut collection profiles one such creature: the mother octopus who starved herself while watching over her eggs, the Chinese sturgeon whose migration route has been decimated by pollution and dams, the bizarre bobbit worm named after Lorena, and other uncanny creatures lurking in the deep ocean, far below where the light reaches. Imbler discovers that some of the most radical models of family, community, and care can be found in the sea, from gelatinous chains that are both individual organisms and colonies of clones, to deep-sea crabs that have no need for the sun, nourished instead by the chemicals and heat throbbing from the core of the earth. Exploring themes of adaptation, survival, sexuality, and care, and weaving the wonders of the marine biology with stories from their own family, relationships, and coming of age, How Far the Light Reaches is a book that invites us to envision wilder, grander, and more abundant possibilities for the way we live. Sounds amazing. Picking that for Lotad. Next. This is Little Leo, which is a fire Pokemon, and that's to read I need to check and make sure. A book everyone is talking about. Okay, so I haven't heard anyone talk about it lately, but people were talking about it. And it's throwing me off just because this is such a contrasting color palette to the cover. So I'm going to pick The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, which is also on my Libro. So it looks like I am second in line for my requested audiobook copy through my library, so that's exciting. So this is by Sengu Mandana and narrated by Samara McLaren. And let's see what it's about. A warm and uplifting, let's see. As one of the few witches in Britain, Micah Moon knows she has to hide her magic, keep her head down, and stay away from other witches so their powers don't mingle and draw attention. And as an orphan who lost her parents at a young age and was raised by strangers, she's used to being alone. And she follows the rules, with one exception, an online account where she posts videos pretending to be a witch. She thinks no one will take it seriously, but someone does. An unexpected message arrives begging her to travel to the remote and mysterious Nowhere House to teach 3 young witches how to control their magic. It breaks all of the rules, but Micah goes anyway and is immediately tangled up in the lives and secrets of not only her 3 charges, but also an absent archaeologist, a retired actor, 2 long-suffering caretakers, and Jamie, the handsome and prickly librarian of Nowhere House, would do anything to protect the children, and as far as he's concerned, a stranger like Micah is a threat, an irritatingly appealing threat. So it has magic and it has romance. I'm pretty interested. Also, the very secret society of irregular witches matches the buzzword for the month of March, so which is in fact secret. So next, this is Bagon, and it's to read a fantasy. This is Bagon, which happens to be a dragon type Pokemon. These are showing up more often than I expected them to. But this is to read a fantasy. Okay, so for Bagon, which is a dragon Pokemon, which is to read fantasy, I'm going to choose The Keeper of Night by Kylie Lee Baker. This is a book of the month book, so that ticks off one of my challenges that I have for myself. This is following a half-British Reaper, half-Japanese Shinigami. Ren Scarborough has been collecting souls in London streets for centuries, expected to obey the harsh hierarchy of the Reapers, who despise her due to her mysterious mother and even more mysterious Shinigami powers. Ren conceals her emotions and avoids her tormentors as best she can. When her failure to control her developing Shinigami abilities drives Ren out of London, she flees to Japan in search of the acceptance she's never gotten from her fellow Reapers. Accompanied by her younger brother, the only being on Earth to care for her, Ren enters Yomi, the Japanese underworld, to serve the goddess of death, only to learn that here too she must prove herself worthy. I've heard good things about it. I am not the biggest fan of this cover, but I think it'll be a good and interesting read. So yeah. Also, I think the second book has come out or is coming out, so. Okay, so aside from the trainer card, this is the last one. And it is Lillipop, which is to read a contemporary. I have an interlibrary loan, which I'm just going to pop up the thing here, the cover, mostly because this slip of paper has my information on it. But this is Fuzz by Mary Roach. This is my 3rd and final attempt with Mary Roach, in all honesty. She is a nonfiction writer that I have mixed feelings about. I've read her, well, I don't have mixed feelings about it. So far, I have not enjoyed her works. I have read Stiff, which comes highly recommended for anyone who's interested in kind of the, what happens to bodies after death. And I have read Packing for Mars. I feel that she inserts herself way too much within her writing in a way that is very abrupt and disorienting. Also, I feel like she's trying to force me to think one way that she feels I should be thinking, rather than just kind of encouraging me or proving with evidence or with what she saw that I should be thinking one way, as opposed to just leading me there without any prompts. Buzz, this is another nonfiction, When Nature Breaks the Law. I actually really enjoy this cover, and that's why I'm giving Mary Roach a 3rd chance. What's to be done about a jaywalking moose, a bear caught breaking and entering a murderous tree? 300 years ago, animals that broke the law would be assigned a legal representation and put on trial. The answers are best found not in jurisprudence, but in science, the curious science of human-wildlife conflict, a discipline at the crossroads of human behavior and wildlife biology. Roach tags along with animal attack forensics forensic investigators, human elephant conflict specialists, bear managers, and danger tree faller blasters. Intrepid as ever, she travels from leopard terrorized hamlets in the Indian Himalaya to St. Peter's Square in the early hours before the Pope arrives for Easter Mass, when vandal gulls swoop in to destroy the elaborate floral display. She taste tests rat bait, learns how to install a vulture effigy, and gets mugged by a macaque. So it is something I'm curious about in general. It does seem like a really interesting premise. Like I said, I love the cover of the hard copy, not so much the paperback, which I think recently came out. But like I said, so this will be interesting. So, and then who was this came from Fullerton, so CSU Fullerton, so thank you so much to them. So that's my pick for Lilliput. And then finally, we have my trainer card. I think for the most part, I have everything. I think I am going to go ahead and just keep this on hold, and just use it for whatever I happen to pick up in the month, and it's a good excuse for me not to get burnt out in March. So yeah, I'm just gonna hold on to this. You'll see what I use it for at the end of the month in my March wrap up. Otherwise, I think this is a good solid mix. I think I have several audiobooks, and then these here, which isn't too bad. We'll see. And like I have said before, basically my TBR is a suggested reading. If I do feel like I need to switch them out for anything, I will go ahead and do so. Just because I am very much a mood reader at heart, and I'm not holding myself to read all of these. But I have a pretty good feeling about it, so I'm excited. So yeah, that is my March TBR. If you've read any of these, please let me know your thoughts down in the description down below. If you've made it this far, let's go ahead. There's a lot of animals, so let's put your favorite animal emoji down in the comments. I'm interested to see. This is particularly my favorite. I love octopuses, so I think it's really cute with its little tentacles. So yeah, yeah. Put your favorite animal emoji down in the comments. Otherwise, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe if you have yet to do so already, and I hope that you are in the mental mindset to enjoy your reading. I will see you in another video very soon. Chew.